What is up, all you GBA type fans? This is Tom. I'm here bringing you guys Week 9, our battle against George. Now, if you missed the team builder from yesterday, you can check out all my thoughts on George's team, as well as my team, and the sets that I'm bringing for this week. Now, besides being an all-blue team, as you'll see on the opposite side, my previous video, I predicted that George would bring Infernape, Manaphy, Mamoswine, with Snorlax, Electabuzz, and Nidoqueen. Now, I also said that instead of Snorlax or Nidoqueen, I also predicted maybe Spiritomb or Fortress. So, the way that it looks like, I got 4 of the 6 correct, which seems to be a common thing. Manaphy, Mamoswine, Infernape, too good not to bring. Electabuzz, very fast, and I think the Volt switching is super important for George. Except it's a little bit treacherous because Gligar is there. Without Gligar, obviously he can Volt switch as freely as he'd like. I didn't bring Gligar last time around, and I didn't bring a lot of the same ones I brought last time around because totally new perspective on this team in the way I'm going to handle George's team. The Gardevoir and the Fortress, I understand why you brought the Fortress because things like Tyrantrum and Sawk and even Cobalion, he needs something to sponge those hits, but I even think like Spiritomb might have been a better option. But I understand why Fortress there, get rocks up, kind of forced me to, especially if I brought like Mega Aerodactyl, he would need, that rocks pressure would definitely be in his favor. Finally, the Gardevoir. I understand why I brought it. The only reason I can think that he's going to be using it is like a special sponge for perhaps Milotic or even Starmie. Otherwise, he's going to have very few things to come in on Scalds outside of just Manaphy, but I don't think he wants to take that burn or just that specs damage. So I think that George brought a very interesting squad, very offensive, and I certainly think it could be relatively effective versus myself. But my lead options here is going to be Cobalion. I thought Gligar to attempt a baton pass out, but if he led with Mamoswine, not really okay with leading with Gligar because then it's just kind of a hard switch and something that wants to take those hits. So we're going to start off, going to be on normal speed, try and talk my way through this. It's a great game. Hope you guys enjoy it. So let's get started. So to lead off, he leads off with Mamoswine. I'm going to lead off with Cobalion. Like I said, this is a Shukaberry Cobalion. Going to go right for close combat. Now, the one thing I want to stress here is that this battle happened on Wi-Fi. The entire battle happened on Wi-Fi. The problem was the penultimate turn, so the second to last turn, we DC'd. And he and I don't live commentate or live record our battles, so unfortunately we had to go right to Showdown. This is an entire recreation, almost down to when things happened and how they panned out all the way through till the end. The results weren't going to change. We just recreated everything, and with that in mind, like it was actually kind of convenient that we were able to do this. But lead off Cobalion, go for close combat. If the Mamoswine was Scarfed, I would see it there, but if you went for Earthquake or even Superpower, something like that, I would be able to knock him out down with the Earthquake because, like I said, I am jolly with, I believe, 112 attack investment. Go for the close combat, knock him down to Sag, goes for Earthquake. Shukaberry activates, takes a good 72%, and I'm going to be able to go for a second close combat, even if he brings in Fortress. This is still going to do a good chunk of damage. Solid 32%. We get to see if he's leftovers, which he's not, so I assume Custap Berry of some nature. Maybe even not that, but go for Volt Switch, get out. Gonna go right into Starmie. He's gonna get up rocks. Now here, yes, he can go for Volt Switch. However, I thought at that point, at that life right there, a Spec Scald is gonna do a lot of damage. And he goes into Gardevoir. And now my suspicions of this being like an AV set or something along those lines is kind of thrown out the window because we look at that damage and the Specs damage shows that maybe he's offensive, maybe he Specs himself, because on the next turn, go for Scald and knock out the Gardevoir. One big threat out of the way because I don't have much that wants to switch in on Gardevoir. Gonna switch out, go on Melodic, and he's gonna go right for Energy Ball. Just not really time to over predict. Go into Melodic, take that damage. Right here goes for Scald, and even in the battle, the first Scald gets the burn. And myself here, I'm going to go for Toxic. The Toxic on the Manaphy was super important because it allowed me to gradually wear down Manaphy, put it in a range where something like Scarf, Sawk, or Specs Starmie could immediately knock it out. Going to go for Recovery here on his first Tail Glow. I thought here if he goes for Tail Glow, I don't think it would knock me out at the range I was at. But also on the same token, right here, George expects me to go for Mirror Coat, thinking that I had enough investment to take one Energy Ball at +3. He can go for it again. I show the Mirror Coat. It's not what's going to happen. Going to go for Haze. Fuck your stat boost. 2 weeks in a row, I'm bringing Haze Melodic, so that just pretty much negates his mana fumes from setting up. On his mana food, we only get the chance to see Scald, Energy Ball, and Tail Glow, so I don't necessarily get the chance to see what his 4th move was. The way that he brings it in later suggests maybe Ice Beam or Dazzling Gleam. Sorry for pausing so much, but with the way it looks at right there, you know, it doesn't really matter. So, because I think Scald and Energy Ball is really good coverage against my team regardless. But even in our battle on Wi-Fi, I go for the Scald, predicting him to switch out, which I thought was kind of obvious at that point because I knew he couldn't set up, and he wasn't going to keep going for Energy Ball, just when I can Scald him and chip him down with the Toxic damage. He's going to go into Electabuzz. I thought the electric move was way too obvious. He could have went for HP Ice, but I think it was in his best interest to just go for an electric move, attempt to get some initiative. He cannot with Gligar. And right here, I'm going to go for Rock Polish. Over Agility, I think Rock Polish, because there's between Polish and Polish is a capital P. Think about it. Gonna go for Rock Polish, and I get up my rocks just in case. So if Fortress I can somehow kill, it means Mamoswine is also dead. That's why I went up with rocks, and he goes for the hard switch. But this also allows me, and hear me out, you're going to think, oh, why do you pass a Rock Polish into Melodic? It's just a Melodic. If it's Spadef, with this +2 speed, which you're going to see right here, look whose leftovers go first. Mine. That means I'm now faster than Manaphy, which means I'm able to recover before he goes for Energy Ball. That also allows me to ensure that I can take that hit, get down to low enough. Obviously a burn would kill me, so if George does stay in, goes for Energy Ball, he would be able to get me down super low. I go for Haze or Recover. He can continue to do that even with the burn damage. Eventually knock me out, but it also racks up his toxic damage. I would have to Haze, keep recovering, something along those lines to kind of stall out this Manaphy. But overall, I'd probably win that battle in the long run because then a Scarfer comes in and revenge kills or puts pressure on his team. With that being said, though, this exchange right here is going to be a little bit more in my favor because of the fact that I am now faster than a non-invested speed Manaphy. The +2 on the Melodic allows me to be faster and recover before him, allows me to Haze before him, and especially allows me to just to live that much better. I thought about passing into Starmie, not time yet because I haven't gotten good damage off on things I need to, being the Electabuzz or knowing what the Infernape set is, maybe it's Scarfed itself. I didn't want to do that yet, didn't want to be that aggressive, attempt to at least wear down the Manaphy. That was the reason. I need Manaphy to be lower. Not only that, but I don't know what the Infernape is, like I just said. So with that in mind, I thought this was the best play. Yes, it's weird on the surface, but it gave me the best results in this match. So I'm going to go here. I believe he... sorry for that lag there. Internet browsers, right? So right here, I'm going to go for a Recover. He's going to spin. He can live 2. I believe he has a solid amount of special defense investment to ensure that he lives these Scalds. But I go for 1 Scald, no burn. He still would have lived the burn. And allowed to get his Wrap Spin off, so that ensures that Mamoswine's now allowed to come in and take a hit, or maybe even, well, obviously just go for a move, go for Ice Shard if he needs to, go for Earthquake based on, obviously, the fact he's not Scarfed, but gonna go into Electabuzz here. I'm just gonna go for a Scald. He's gonna bring in Mamoswine to sack it off. He can go into Manaphy, but I don't think you want to do that. Go for a Scald, get another kill with my Melodic. And that now puts me up 6-3 against George. He here is going to go into Electabuzz, and I'm thinking there's no way he doesn't go for Volt Switch. If he goes for HP Ice, he's an absolute fucking lord. But going to Gligar, going to attempt to Rock Polish again. And I'm going to... Now this time, I was thinking when I go for Rock Polish, he has the option to well, he doesn't have the option. I do. But he goes into Manaphy. And I was thinking, alright, this took me down, if we saw the Wi-Fi battle, this took me down all the way to like 4 seconds. I was thinking, alright, I have 3 options. I can go into Sock, that's stupid. Sock's already Scarfed. Go into Tyrantrum, could do that. Melodic is a little bit too low for me to go into. I was not going to bring in Melodic against a Manaphy that can just go for Energy Ball, knock that out. Kind of waste the Rock Polish. But I could pass it out to either Tyrantrum. I could also pass it out into Starmie. I looked at Energy Ball calcs from a Modest and a Timid Manaphy. Thought about it. Tyrantrum, the range that Manaphy's at if he's max HP, the head smash isn't guaranteed to kill, and I have to fucking hit it. Not really about that. He could also crit with this next Energy Ball. Not really okay with that, so I go a little bit risky, but it puts me in a better position, and he can't knock me out without being boosted, and if he does boost, I then knock him out with, because I outspeed. I decide right here, you know what? Starmie's time to shine. Now, in our battle, I baton pass out into Starmie, so it is speed boosted. But here it doesn't matter because he has no investment on his Manaphy, and you'll see later why it also doesn't matter. Gonna go for Energy Ball. I don't have the speed boost, don't need it. But here I'm gonna go for Thunderbolt, and base that the current range that he's at, even with max in HP. It was a roll, but it was in my favor because I think the minimum it was gonna do is like 62%, 62 like 72% with the Spec Starmie, and that's the roll I get. And there you go. I knock out the Manaphy, go for another Thunderbolt. He's gonna go for Nasty Plot. This is why the speed didn't matter, because he sets up anyway in front of me, knowing he can live a T-Bolt. He doesn't get the Analytic boost, and I am slow, or I am faster, but it's not stab, so obviously I'm not going to knock out an Infernape from full. Goes for Nasty Plot here, going to go for a Vacuum Wave, and he's going to knock me out. That was very surprising. I'm seeing Starmie's HP go down, I'm like, live, live, live. Because if it did live, I would have won that match, because Electabuzz is in fact Scarfed, but I have my own Scarfer in the bag here. Going to go, I have a 95% Sock here, go for Earthquake. He thought about going for Vacuum Wave, but it did 80% max. So he could have... He was basically put in the same situation that Koopa was put into. If he went for... If he allowed Infernape to die, and it somehow miraculously lived that Earthquake, or I went for like close combat or something, he's then in the same position that Koopa was in. And that position was you're locked into an electric move against a team that has a Tyrantrum. So that was his choice right there. He could have went for Vacuum Wave. Maybe, he could have used that tandem to knock out Sock, but I still had 5 mons to his 1 that was in fact burned. So, maybe I go into Cobalion, let it take the hit, or go into Gligar and just be a dick and roost all over him, or I go into Tyrantrum and try and hit smash him to death, because I could have done that as well. Melodic probably would have died, would have been stupid just to decrease my differential, but lo and goddamn behold, I beat George. So, ceremonial, Pick'em crew, suck on my nutsack, because you all voted against me. For you, hold that goddamn L, because you locked up against me. Suck it. Take that. I'm not an easy win. As good as George is, as much as I love George as a competitor, as much as I love watching every one of his matches, because he is such a fine-tuned kind of type of competitor and builder, don't lock against me. I don't care if you vote against me, don't lock against me. Pick someone else. This is not the smartest match for you to lock against. But hey, I won. And it was not a 1-0 victory. It was not a 3-0 victory. It's a goddamn 5-0 victory. Lock up a very solid win against a very solid division opponent. And this is a good confidence booster. It's showing that my team is a lot more offensive with necessary bulk. Just bringing Gligar and Melodic is working. Using double threats like I did last week with Tyrantrum and Sock and Starmie, and a pivot type of tank in Cobalion is working. This team is much more aggressive, less passive, much more in your face. You play to my style. I'm not playing to your style. I think it's going to be very important when it comes to Mono and John. And Nick next week. So I really hope you guys enjoyed. Leave your comments down in the comment section down below. I'm very excited that I got this win. I don't want to be too much of a dick, even though every analyst can suck my nuts, and every person that locked against me in the comment section also sucked my nuts. I hope you guys enjoyed that loss in your lock of the weeks. That being said, I'm going to bring this same type of drive to my next week. Playing Nick. After that, we have Mono. After that, we have John in our finale. And I'd like to win all 3 of those matches. And I want to bring good matches, regardless of what the situation is. This season didn't go my way, but that's obviously because of the fact that this team wasn't necessarily good early on. Now I think it is, and it's much more to what I like to use and how I'm getting this team to work. So that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. Leave your comments. Go check out George if you haven't already. Great competitor, great friend of mine, and also lives in New Jersey, so that's cool. And yeah, that being said, talk to you guys soon. See you guys next week against Nick. Later.